I don't know about you, but I feel really grounded in God right now. We're in the right place for it. If you came here to get reminded that God is in the center of all things, well, you're in the right place. God is here. Spirit is here. And did anybody see the proverbial plastic bag flying around in the background? I said, I'm going to use that because, do you ever feel like a paper bag drifting through the air, knowing, right? So, sometimes we feel that way, right? But, we always get to get grounded into God. God grounds us. And that is perfect for the message of the awakening. And as we're going into a 5-week series of the awakening, we get to remember the first part of all of it is get grounded in God. Because there's a lot of stuff out there, isn't there? Moving, everything's moving and churning so fast. Sometimes we think we got to go over here. Oh no, I got to go over here. No, I got to go do that. No, I got to finish this. And so our list can get really long, right? Anybody feel that way? The changes are happening. Which way should I go? What should I do next? Where should I travel? Maybe I need to take care of this. Maybe I need to take care of some things. Anybody have that thing that's just on your list and it's been on your list for a long time? Yeah. A real long time. Well, that's part of the awakening, is that presence that you feel today, that grounded in God, is we get that awareness. The awakening is the awareness that now we know it's been on our list a long time. Now that I know it's been on my list a long time, I just can't ignore it anymore. It's kind of like, who was I describing this to the other day? When you're walking along, taking a dog for a walk, and they step on a thorn. And the dog slows down, and I know we have dog lovers in here. And so you have to stop what you're doing. And that thorn, if you don't pull it out, it'll fester. The dog will just keep going like there's nothing wrong, until one day it's slipping along. It's got a big swollen toe. Okay, so that is an example of what can happen if we don't look at what has been on our list for too long. In the awakening process, we wake up and we realize it's there. So that doesn't mean that everything's just all done. Okay, I'm awakened. I know that this is here. And so, okay, we're done now. I'm awakened. Okay, keep going. Business as usual, right? That's how in the past perhaps we've handled things. But in the awakening, we get to take a look at that. And so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to bring in a couple Bible verses. And the first one is Psalm 46:2. I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to raise it up a little bit more. There we go. Psalm 46:1 says, God is our refuge and strength and ever-present help in times of trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though earth may fall into the heart of the sea. God is our refuge and our strength. And so when we talked about God is in the center of all things, God, the Father and I are one. I and the Father are one. We get to remember that when we are going into the awakening, because that's where we get grounded. And that's the very first thing we get to do is, okay, maybe you have all these decisions, maybe you have this long list of things to do, but we need to get grounded into God. And when God is in our life, now we get to practice that, what we did with meditation. It was beautiful meditation. And it was perfect, of course. And as we awaken, we realize that we might see all the possibilities, or we might see them all as distractions. What is our perception? So we can take a look at, what is our perception? Are these all distractions? Or are they obstacles? Or are they possibilities? And so we get to work on that. What are we focusing on? So we can question, what are we focusing on? Are we focusing as things as an obstacle or as a possibility? And that is a perception that when we wake up And when I say wake up, it's in the present tense, wake up. It's not something we did in the past when we awoke in the past. It is right now with the many directions that we think we can go or what we're going to do. We have to ask ourselves, what are we willing to fight for? What are we willing to stand up for? And that's a big question for all of us. What are we willing to stand up for? What are we willing to fight for? Because we all get to choose right now. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that, when you might be walking with your very best friend, and your best friend might have their own universe going on with their thought processes, and then you might have your universe going on in your thought processes, but you're doing the same thing. You're going to the same places. You're eating at the same restaurant. So these are the multiverses that we have right now going on. So we get to choose. This is a whole new year, the new beginning. So we get to, first of all, stay connected to that indwelling spirit within us, our indwelling spirit, the God within. And we're all faced with choices on how we're going to live our lives, and especially with the pace that everything is speeding up. Anybody notice? It's not even a day or 12 hours that goes by. And so you might be focused on things that are external to you. You might be focusing on strengthening your inner world. You might be focusing on your health or your home or your food. But what is it that you're willing to fight for? And the answer to that question, if we can look past items as distractions, as we look at the list of things, we get to get grounded in the present moment. And how do we ground in the present moment? You all are experts here. We did the meditation. We get to practice that, make that a daily practice, to ground in God, to get grounded into God. And spirit is not an individual lofty idea that's out in the ethers somewhere that maybe when I meditate, I'm going to meditate and visualize, and spirit brings us right here into our body and grounds us in with our feet on the ground. I was reading a Native American tradition is the shoes are connected right with the deer skin and right to the ground. And now we're so used to the shoes with the plastic in between. So do we get grounded on Mother Earth? I thought that was really something. So ground down into the earth and grounding ourselves in the connection with our divine wisdom that we get to tap into when we are in our body, mind, and spirit all together. That brings us in the present moment. So that's the trick, because with all the list of things to do, we think of the future, we're thinking of the past. The trick is getting grounded in the present moment, because right now is all we have. Right now is all we have. This is all that matters. And look where we are. We're here together today. So we get to breathe out the noise when we are in meditation and prioritize those thoughts that come in our head, because they're going to come into our head. If we're meditating and we silence our minds and slow down a little bit into the present moment, the thoughts still come in. We can't make them go away. Well, what are those thoughts coming in when you get grounded into God? Those thoughts, maybe they are of your health. Maybe the awakening is that I need to focus more on my health, or the awakening is whatever that is for you. But the question of how do you know what it is you're willing to fight for? Ask yourself this: what is the civil war going on in your head right now? There's a civil war going on in your mind right here. Whatever that is in here is what the focus is. Because you can hear all kinds of stories and other people's universes going on right now, and what's important to them. But now we got to get focused in here. What's the inner struggle in here between our ears that's worth fighting for. And so in the awakening, we are grounded. And when we decide what it is that inner battle that we all have, some inner battle, it might be on the top of the list. It might be on the bottom of your list, if you have a list, right? But there's an inner battle that's going on, and that inner battle is what causes suffering. So are we willing to stand up and fight for that, to heal it? In the awakening, when we're awake and we're grounded, we realize that that burden may keep us from feeling that wholeness. And we talk about our wholeness in unity. We talk about we are one with the divine. It is our wholeness. But psychologically, we can look at our wholeness as when we embrace all aspects of ourselves. And wholeness doesn't mean, oh, I'm perfect now. I learned all my lessons. I don't have to do the work anymore. I'll come to church when I want to sometimes. I got this. You know, we go float along life through the peaks and valleys, right? We all do that. And then after a while, there's something that comes on the list and goes, oh, I need to take care of that. Or I should have taken care of that. And so we find out, how do we take care of these things that are on our list? Well, guess what? In the decisions that we're making in 2026, we get to decide, and all of you have something that you're thinking of maybe. What is that? We get to decide what we're going to hold on to and what we're going to let go of. These are decisions that we get to make this year in the new year with a new beginning and with an awakening and an awareness. So that awakening is really about our conscious awareness. Are we going to be conscious in 2026 with what we're doing and where we're going and how we're speaking? So Confucius say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. That is, so we get to choose what is it we're going to stand for. And so is that battle an internal battle between the ears of what it is that festering? Or is it something external that maybe that's your decision on where to go and what to stand up for? But the internal journey is where we are here with the indwelling spirit. We get to focus on the indwelling spirit. Never leaves us, no matter what direction we decide. The indwelling spirit is with us. So we all get to do it. We all get to decide what it is that is really worth fighting for. And the point in all of this is to regain our sovereignty. To regain our sovereignty. In the awakening journey, we might start out as a victim. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened to me. We've all been there. And some of us go through that over again. But then we move from victim to survivor. And that survivor, once we get past that survivor, we get to move into our sovereignty. And now our sovereignty, that's a lot of work. In the awakening journey, that's a lot of inner work. But in Deuteronomy, it says, be diligent and not forget the things your eyes have seen, or let them fade from your heart as long as you live, and teach them to your children and to their children after that. So we must not forget what we've been through, what we've lived through to get where we are right here today with our faith in God and knowing that God grounds us and keeps us moving forward on this journey, on this awakening journey we're on. To regain our sovereignty as individuals. And so what is it that we are focused on? Are we focusing on, oh no, there's going to be doom and gloom? Are we focusing on silver's going through the roof? Are we focusing on other countries and what's going on there? Are we focusing here and what's going on in our own home or our own community. It's up to you. It's up to all of us. And so as we do this, it's practice. And so the first step in the awakening journey is always getting grounded in God and knowing that solidarity. There is no separation between you and God. That's the first step on the journey. And over the next 5 weeks, I'm going to take you on a process because we're going to go over the next step next week. And you'll find that it does run quite a bit with our unity principles. It's quite amazing how it works. And so with that, I have one more I'd like to say, and that is in Ephesians 1:18, Paul prays, "May the eyes of your heart be enlightened in the end that you may know the hope to which God has called you." I'm going to say it again because I stumbled on that one. Paul prays, "May the eyes of your heart be enlightened in all that you may know that the hope in which God has called you." And so that's the faith that we get here with God. That is the faith on this journey. So I would like to say the affirmation, I am on an awakening journey. Would you like to join me? I am on an awakening journey. That's right, and so it is. Let's do a closing prayer. God, thank you for being with us today, allowing us to connect with you more, know you more, and to know the presence of the indwelling Spirit, that Christ light that we all hold. We're grateful for this grounding in God today, that we can leave out of the doors and know the presence of you, God, never leaves us, is always with us. And so it is.